Alright, hello everybody. Hello True. Hello Alhuno. Hi Farsax, thank you for the resub. Big guy. If I have to tell you again. We're already having a morning. Let me fix this real quick. Cool. Alright, let's see what spicy bean we get for you, Farsax.
Oh, a very good one.
Habanero.
Not bad.
I hope everyone's having a good Saturday so
Mommy,
far.
what are spicy beanies?
I'm not running out. Yeah. There we go. All right. Today we're going to continue with our Ocarina of Time rando. I have crowd control on, so you guys can cause shenanigans. And today is the last day that we are fundraising for 1000 Dreams Fund for Dream Girl Summer. The fundraiser is going towards all of their programs, so not just the Broadcast Her initiative, which benefits women and femme in gaming, but also for those who are trying to break out into esports, trying to get scholarships for STEM continued education and things like that. And even like giving leadership skills to young girls. So it's all really important. It's all really amazing that they're putting all this money towards it. So if you can donate, please do. We're at $200 raised. I would love to hit the 500. I would love to hit the 575 so that Johnny drives up and pies me in the face and gets a pie in his face as well. And the donate link is pinned at the top of the chat. Hi, Cedric.
Johnny, you
how are
son
you?
of a bitch!
The pie. Oh, pie. Hi, Johnny. I don't know, Johnny. It doesn't look good.
Coffee. Decaf.
It doesn't look good, Johnny.
I asked him for cream and sugar. He said.
Alright. Alright, well, we don't have bomb shoes. Yep. Shenanigans starting early. Put that down there.
What the heck?
True, you didn't sneak in successfully. I said hi to you twice. You're on your way to the speakeasy. Have fun. You missed it. I still said it. Alright. I'm trying to remember what I need to do. Oh, right. It doesn't show only the available checks for this one for some reason. It's so weird. Oh, right. I need keys, too. Let me see. Sometimes I can get bomb chews from Zora's River. Thank you for the error. Errors. So much errors. So much errors. No bomb chews this time. That sucks. Right, and I can't crawl, so that's why I couldn't do that. I might just have to buy some bomb chews at this point. I don't know if I planted the seeds. I don't remember. It's been too long. There's a great chicken noise. I did not. Okay. Oh, I can't buy bomb chews because I don't have the bomb chew shop key. Oh, that sucks. To plant the Lost Woods, or the Kokiri Forest one. Lost Woods one I probably do. I'm not sure why it says I have so many things available when I know I can't do a lot of them. Like, it says the song from Ocarina of Time, but I don't have that available to me because I don't have the spiritual stones for it. And if I recall, I can't be Adult Link yet. I can't open chests yet, so I don't know why it's saying that too. This tracker is like busted. Oh, right. I'm going to the wrong one. Oh, it's the bridge one that's open. Son of a bee. I don't need that one. I can't dive far enough to take me down that. Yeah, that's not real. Shoulda known. I don't know why it says I can't buy the bomb shoes though, because I can. Heckin' rude, game. Heckin' rude. Oh yeah, no, I can't. I'm not gonna be able to do that because I don't have a good spot for a bomb. There's none in here. Yeah. What was this dungeon? Right. I don't think there's anything I can do in here. Because I don't think I can even dive deep enough to... Yeah, no. Okay. Right. It does this. I can't use magic yet, so I can't. Well, I can't even get in there. Right. No, it wants arrow for those. Okay. I was like, maybe it's this. Nope. I'm gonna have to blow that up, but I don't have a bomb for it. There's a Joltik in chat. Catch that Pokemon. Okay. Well, that's why those aren't done. Cool. What's this way? Okay.
You were close.
please have bomb shoes? Please, bomb shoes. I can't crawl. Can't do this. It's fine. Everything's fine. Will you guys give me bomb shoes? Y'all give me nothing. Stingy. Can't do anything here either. Right, can't open chests. Right. Right. Okay, and that's blocked. Okay. This one's definitely been a wild ride. Can't crouch. Can't do anything in here either. Because I can't open chests. This is wild. Okay, well. Can't do anything there. It's fine. This is fine. Everything's fine. simulating the thaw. My god. Alright. Please be something useful. Nope. Okay, so I've already opened the potion shop. Thank you for low gravity and yeeting me out of existence. Okay, that's at least open now. What's up?
How am I supposed to pick?
Why did you take him apart? There you go. Where's the other leg? Okay. Well, can't do that, can't do that. The night balcony. Can't do the guardhouse. Okay. This is fine. Everything's fine. Now we just wait for nighttime. Daytime, nighttime. That's not my drink. Daytime, nighttime. Daytime, nighttime. Hey Renato,
What, I
welcome
just
in. How are
started
you?
officially streaming constantly. I got friends like Johnny and Troll, and like they back me up a lot. So that's why I officially started streaming. You know.
You, Johnny. Nah, no one needs that. Found a fishing pole. Well, that's good. I don't think I can get in there yet. Yeah, I don't have that key. Okay. Hey, boss dude. Welcome in. How are you? Breaking pots. Not all of them. Right now, we're just trying to figure out what we can do because this tracker doesn't just limit to what I can actually do for some reason. Yeah, the heat's been pretty bad. Heat has been pretty bad. Okay, so I did already plant that one. I have bombs? Bomb shoes? Bombs? Anything? No? There's a Houndoom in chat. Catch that Pokemon. It's part of the event. Like, I want that, even though it's probably not real. What do you want from me, game? Nice catch, Cedric. You caught the Houndoom. Okay. Can't do anything here either. there a lot of smoke up here? Not at the moment. Why can't I get it? I don't understand. Honestly, this one might be fucked. Because I don't know. I don't honestly know what I'm missing. Okay. And it's talking about butterfly fairies, and I don't know if I know how to do those. Let me look real quick. Let me look real quick. Oh. Okay. So I need, oh, the stick. Okay. I've never actually gotten this to work, so this is gonna be interesting. It just says to hold it out near them. What are you doing with Stormy Bear? Yeah, she doesn't like that. Hi, Stormy Bear. Is you coming to lay with me? Come on. Hi, pretty kitty. Hi, pretty kitty. Mm-hmm.
Look how so. Stop could be this one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Be this one too.
This one's Stormy Bears. Our resident old lady and RBF cat. I don't know how this is supposed to trigger and how long it's supposed to trigger. Let me see. Is there anything in here about butterflies? Oh, how does Better Owl not already on? Cat does not like to lay down, but she loves making biscuits.
Stormy is our old lady cat.
All dogs are Richard. Ah. Ow. Shh, big guy. Okay, Stormy, calm down. Okay, so doesn't say anything about that. Can you get your foot off my chest? Thank you. Nice, Briggy. You a nutty kitten? I just hit him with it. Land on my stick. You're stuck. You're stuck on my blankie because you made biscuits. Hang on, hang on, hang on, hang on, hang on. There you go. Butterfly, please. Butterfly, please. All right. What? Okay, so it needs to follow. Oh, it's gonna be a pain in the butt on this one. There we go. There's a Skrelp in chat. Catch that Pokemon. That was so not worth it, but it's fine. Okay, so there's other fairies now that we need to get that way. Do I remember where they are? No. Or how I got there? No. Right, this was, I don't think I can kill these guys. I'm gonna use up all my sticks doing this, but it's fine. It's fine. The amount of ice traps in this one, holy crap. Alright, well. This is going fine. On the plus side, I shouldn't have to kill all of those frosty dudes again. They should just be dead now. Oh, that's nice. We at least got something. Oh, and I can't climb up there. Okay, cool. I can do a little bit more if I can manage to get back to Ganon's tower, because I have a blue fire spot there I can grab. Yes, chests. And I don't have Goma anyway. Would not mind replenishing my sticks though. Three is number one. This is a rough one. This is a rough one. There we go. Ooh, giant log. I can't light it on fire though. That's fine. I can't do anything anywhere. Anyway. Oops. Why are we over there? There we go. Do we have butterflies here? No. Okay. Alright, but here we can get the blue fire. So there is that. Yay. I kind of enjoy the whole trials are locked by their medallions thing though. That's fun. Yeah. It happens. Can't do anything here. There's no butterfly in here either. I don't have that bean sprout yet. And that was just a crap rock. I remember that. Can't do anything there. Hey, Riddy!
I'll never
Welcome in. How
recover.
are you?
Well, of course Eva was going to win. Like, it's
Yeah,
everyone's
this
favorite
game is
mod.
wide,
Of course
yeah.
the favorite mod was going to defeat the other mod. That makes no sense otherwise. So close, I know.
I really did have such a love-hate relationship with FF10. Really did. I have a whole crap ton of just random clips because at one point, I think it was like Halloween time or something like that, there was like a badge or something if you made a clip in someone's stream that was in like a certain category. Okay. Alright, so now we gotta go in here, and there are fairies in here. Boo-bye! Thank you for the hug, I hug you back. Welcome in, I hope you're having a good Saturday. Oh
Actually,
no, you
know
have
what?
to
I think
work?
I might.
Stupid work.
Oh, I got him! I got
But
him!
I approved your PTO request.
I got all of
I did not mean to do that.
I
Shit.
got all of them.
Damn it. I thought... Damn it. That's upsetting. There we go. We got one. We got one. Just follow me. Another fucking Triforce piece? I don't need any more Triforce pieces. Near wall butterfly fairy, near stairs butterfly fairy, near archway butterfly fairy. What? Oh. There's a Carablast in chat. Catch that Pokemon. Alright.
You were close.
Alcohol. Pah!
None of those were worth it. Cool. Love that for me. Love that for me right now. Oh. This is apparently a check. Son of a bitch. You're joking. You're joking right now. Son of a bitch. As a reminder, we are still fundraising for Dream Girl Summer for 1,000 Dreams Fund. We are currently at $200. If we hit 575, Johnny will drive up and pie me in the face and also get pied in the face because I ain't going down by myself on that one. So we have 375 more to go for that. So if y'all want to see that, because it would be hilarious, there's the link. It's also pinned at the top of the chat, so. Oh my god. Yeah, you guys can have a snack if you want. It's snack time, big girl, if you want a snack. You'll have to kneel down though, Johnny. Oh yeah, so let's put that down there, that there, that there. Oh wait. That there, that on. It's wild how much of this we've done and how few items I have. Ouch. Okay. Is the box empty? Okay, we'll put it in the
He hasn't
trash.
been very interested in talking to anyone.
Hello, Miss
Self-voicing
Nix.
enabled.
Welcome in. How are you?
Oscar, I don't think. Oscar, I don't think so.
You want a granola bar
That's all
too? Do you need help getting one? Big girl, can you help him get a granola bar? Thank you so much. Yes. Well, we will pie each other in the face. Yes.
Oh, food.
Wow. Good job. All right, you know how to open it? All right. See this? Look at what mommy's doing. Grab that and grab that. And then twist. Stop. You do it. Twist. Come here. Johnny says hi, kiddos. Big guy.
I love these granola bars.
Mm-hmm. How did it fall? Because you're a wackadoodle kid who doesn't sit still. It seems quite obvious to me. Where's my super suit? Where is my super suit? That is so not going to be a real mirror shield. It is the real mirror shield. Holy shitballs. Flowey dancy time? Okay, Johnny. you go, Johnny.
Fun Johnny. Fun Johnny.
Johnny is an old fart. Yep, you're not wrong. I like how the one thing that's not a freaking ice trap is the green rupee. Replenish all this. Okay. It's exciting to actually get progression though. It just took me hours. Except I can't open this freaking chest still. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not salty. You're salty. I just want to know how many ice traps there are in the seed. We've got to be in like the 400s by now. Just judging by how many things I've checked. Maybe high 300s. Fine. Everything's fine. Okay. So shooting gallery is something we can do. Okay, we got another warp song. Cool, cool. Long shot, nice. Yeah, well, that's what you get, Johnny. That's what you get. Lacquer. Light arrows. Cool. I just want to be able to open chests. That's all I want to do. I just want to open chests. Frigatitos. Hi, baby.
You want some more?
There's a Pichu in chat. Catch that Pokemon. It's part of the event. Hi, Sai. Welcome in. How you doing?
This is your one-stop kink cameo shop now. Welcome to the one-stop kink cameo shop, where
What fun is that? Give me some lovely chickens. I appreciate you.
What is making you frozen?
Those are called ice traps.
It's speaking ice trappy.
Yep, there's a lot of them.
I think that.
Okay. Fairy, 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 fairy.
Man, what are things? What are grazing?
What are what grazing?
So,
There's silver rupees.
I didn't know those.
Nice catch, Johnny. You caught the Pichu. Ew, Johnny. I know, right? Can't get rid of him. Mulsakachu.
Warrior of Nyx asked me, can you give us a dad joke? Of course. Why did the clock get detention? Because it kept talking back. Pathetic, I know, yet somehow still better than most puzzle solutions.
That was pretty good. I enjoyed it. Hi, Trouble.
I farted.
You farted?
No, you farted.
I didn't fart. What? Why does it keep signing you kids out of this?
That's annoying.
There you go.
What?
Excuse you? What? Oh, for him saying the farting thing? Yeah, that's just normal. That's normal for here. Alright, what more we got here? Really put 92 Triforce pieces in here and only needed 12. Whoa. You okay, Spriggies? You scared the cat, big girl. God dang it. Can I have a heart? Nope, I can have death. Oh, okay. Spriggies, what's going on, kitten? God, do I have to do this all over again? I hope not. No.
Mama says.
Let me grab another bottle of this blue fire.
You want to do the boat. Boated.
Big guy, stop, please.
Boat.
Stop.
No, that's the baby. You have to be.
Well, there's nothing I can spend them on right now, big guy. God. On the plus side, these haven't been ice traps as of yet. Might as well be, though. I mean, same. It just gets old hearing fart 50,000 times a day. Because I hear fart 50,000 times a day.
I heard about 1 million days.
Alright, well, I can't open that. You cannot yell right next to me. You cannot yell right next to me, okay? Do you understand? Please stop.
Yeah.
No, you didn't start it. He did. Stop.
Sorry.
What?
Look it.
Look at what? Yeah, there's a ducky in a bathtub.
And I don't have that many toys anymore. I had a 49. Like 49 toys and now I'm down to 8.
Here, we're waiting until daytime.
Get out.
Daytime? Daytime? Well, daytime! Alright, let's see what you got. Okay.
I found it in my mouth.
Big guy, please stop. I've asked
The
you.
what?
I asked you to please stop.
What's the what? What's the what? What a creepy thing. Blue fire.
Okay, well, that wasn't helpful. Dang it. Okay. Alright, let's see how bad we are at this today.
With the what? You better.
Sweet, first try.
Both try.
That's unfortunate. Oh, because I don't have the bow. Damn it. That's right. Well. Ma'am. 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 Laundry, you suck. Just saying. There's a wheezing in chat. Catch that Pokemon. It's part of the event. And
B12 OG.
it's a B12
B12
OG.
OG. B12 OG.
Oh, stop. Please don't do this. I trap. How do get up there? Mom.
Oh, so we got to do fish and bugs as an adult too. Okay.
Oh, mommy, there's a hole. Can you open
Right.
test now?
Nope.
Oh. Okay.
No.
Yeah. That's the kind of
Oh, that's real. Okay, cool. Nice catch, Cedric. You caught the wheezing. And death. It got cloned. Ooh. Okay, so I don't have free. Hammer would be greatly appreciated. Just saying. Let me see if I can even do this today. Thanks for the knockback. Greatly appreciated.
There's geese everywhere.
Nope. Missed. Yep.
Why did you just die for?
Interesting that it brought me back there. That tracks.
Do that.
Big guy, please don't be loud right next to me. Mommy's head hurts, okay? It's not. No, it's not funny.
Boats. And what is that plate doing all the lava?
Okay.
Why did it get you on there?
I don't know. That was kind of new.
You used to never go in. Whoa. What the flip? What the heck?
That was weird. That was weird.
What the heck has happened? What was that?
Okay, that's all I can do there. No prescription. Okay. God, can I even hit freaking baby Goron with the bomb flowers today? Probably not. I can talk to this dude though. Nope, missed. Oh, we got him that time. Okay.
Where?
Oops. There's so many words for that thing now. Mad. Big guy. Please. Big guy. Enough.
Did you spend any of those?
Yes, I spent rupees.
Where? You spent 95?
Technically, I spent 100 and got 5 back.
The boat.
Oh my god, I can't fight because of rocks. Thanks, Johnny.
Oh.
Okay. Please don't move my sandals, okay? Is it raining out? It is raining, yep. In or out. Thank you. Alright, I can't open the fucking chest. That's right. Windmill key, that's a good one. Okay. Can't do anything up there. So we go down here. Sorry, I had to catch up on some DMs. There's a Bronzer in chat. Catch that Pokemon. Alright, now we gotta give him... Bug. Yeah. Oh, light medallion. Cool, cool. Go into the windmill. We can do a couple things there. This is totally fake. There's no way that's real. Dang it!
You were close.
I did enjoy that one message that was included in there. Johnny. That was pretty good. Brave butterfly fairy. Oh crap. You got more? Oh boy. Oh, right. These are all going to be randomized. Where's this going to take me? Oh, okay. I mean, I already did this, but this will get us to the top of the windmill. Or the little platform in the windmill. Remind me later, I'll have, I have some I can share as well. Oh, shoofies, there's a lot of stuff in here. Sweet. Death. At least it gave me that before it killed me. That's nice. My God, messages. They're everywhere. Okay. Okay. There's so much in Dante's area. It's ridiculous. I have to fix that because I'm also in the charity team and I just haven't added it yet. And we died again! Yay! God, there's so much here. You applied for the Disability Guild? Nice! Sorry, my kids are being wild outside. At least it's outside. Dante, you're in a hole with your little fire. I don't know what's back here, if anything. Well, then go change. I was gonna say, did I just break it? Because that would have been hilarious. We're currently in Agile. I'm gonna quick grab a snack. I'll be right back. Alright, Johnny, you have fun.
Okay. Goomba, you want the Goomba? Whoa, look at her! Dude, she's neat.
Oh my god.
I saved you.
Followed you.
I saved you.
She just ran back in. Oh my god, did you see her? She like sauntered away, all like head down, a little sad. She's a sad puppy.
Nice catch, B12. I'm gonna check this one. Really? Yeah? You're saying hi? Yeah! Oh, that was so cute. You gonna say hi again? Can you blow kisses? Oh, you. I feel so bad. about to say I feel so bad for killing Yoshi, and now I have to kill Yoshi again. Oh god, now I have to get through this part again. Hi, Mama. How are you? How's Daddy?
I don't think Beauty can hear at the moment. I'm not too sure. She's taking her dough face off at the moment.
Okay.
So yeah, that adjustment was actually me doing a full costume change.
Just so you know, Beauty, Lux said that you guys got a call from Kayla, and she just hopped out to go, I think, tell her.
Yeah, I heard the call.
Oh, okay.
So last game, or do we need to cut this early?
So we got costume change. We can probably finish this real quick.
Ah, I was right. Doctor Who. I knew it.
Yep, we got our TARDIS dress on. This is another one I made.
This time.
Goomba. You calling Sissy Goomba? Oh my god. He just called his sister Goomba. I can't see. Alright, big guy's awake. I gotta go get him.
Rude. Don't. Mario, I said don't. Mario. It's totally not my fault.
Cody, you fucking dick. Fax.
Oh, that's in my head now.
Blue shell.
I'm not in first, I'm happy. Jerk.
Whee!
Well,
Whee!
Dang, I was.
There's a wild Chansey in chat. Catch that Pokemon. B12 OG! B12 OG! B12 OG!
Alright, we're here. Take a look at the equipment and prepare accordingly before starting the investigation. The ghost here seems to be linked to a cursed object. Let's take a closer look. Maybe using it will help your investigation.
Shit! How is this close? How is this close? Oh well, we get the dead ending. Yes. I got a cog out of it. Oh, well that was a fun death.
Cheers. Get ready to clip. Why did I lick? Why am I licking?
You're a little bit older.
You were close.
Alright. Welcome back, everybody. Why is camera dark? Camera? Camera? What you doing, camera? Why you doing that?
It's not even dug out.
There we go. I don't know why I did that. That was weird. Alright. Back to this shenaniganry. Dante, you're an a-hole. Granny's potion shop key. Cool. You Dickens. Oh my god, Dante. You're being grade A asshole right now. Cool. Oh my god. This guy. He's being a real dick today. Oh my god, stop. Can we not? Can we not? Big guy. Stop. It's a game. Relax.
things are so annoying. I don't think everything.
That was close.
Like, those things are useless.
Okay, so there's one that I'm missing. I don't know where it was. Oh, I bet it was the other way in that last section. Okay. Don't worry, guys. We're almost done. We're almost done with Dompe. It's good, because I want to set him on fire. Much like that. No,
Okay. Goomba, you want the Goomba? Whoa, look at her! Dude, she's neat.
Oh my god.
I saved
She
you.
followed you.
I saved you.
She just ran back in. Oh my god, did you see her? She like sauntered away all like head down, a little sad. She's a sad puppy.
Nice catch, B12. And check this one. Really? Yeah? You're saying hi? Yeah! Oh, that was so cute. You gonna say hi again? Can you blow kisses? Oh, you. I feel so bad. I was about to say I feel so bad for killing Yoshi, and now I have to kill Yoshi again. Oh god, now I have to get through this part again. Hi, Mama. How are you? How's Daddy?
I don't think Beauty can hear at the moment. I'm not too sure. She's taking her dough face off at the moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, that adjustment was actually me doing a full costume change.
Just so you know, Beauty, Lux said that you guys got a call from Kayla, and she just hopped out to go, I think, tell her.
Yeah, I heard the call.
Oh, okay.
So last game, or do we need to cut this early?
So we got costume change. We can probably finish this real quick.
Ah, I was right. Doctor Who. I knew it.
Yep, we got our TARDIS dress on. This is another one I made.
This time.
Goomba. You calling Sissy Goomba? Oh my god. He just called his sister Goomba.
Thank you you for the hydrate. Welcome in. I hope you're having a good Saturday. We're getting our butt kicked by Dompe right now. Because he's a jerk. He's actually being like a real jerk in this run for some reason. Like, I swear he's throwing like twice as many fireballs. Okay, it's not this section. It's the next one. There it is. Okay. Yeah, it was worth it too. Holy crap. Well, we're not getting the secret one, but that's okay for now. Right, I can't open that. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Holy crap, it was real. Holy crap. Alright, we're gonna hold off on that other Dompe one real quick. I don't have this key. No, I don't. There's a Ty Rogue in chat. Catch that Pokemon as part of the event. Hey, Cyniax! Welcome in. How are you?
I'm one of the fucking kids in the thing. Oh my god, my daughter just scared the shit out of me. Oh my god.
That was pretty good. I enjoyed that. Little Nightmares is such a good game. Okay. Okay. Cool, cool. We got two that were something there. Let me check the other grottos in the graveyard. I haven't checked the... To my knowledge, I haven't checked those. I don't remember if I did as a kid or not. I caught a shiny Tyrogue? What? Please hold as I bring that up now to look at it. Because this is what we do here. If we catch a shiny on Pokemon community games, we have to look at it immediately. Oh, interesting. I don't know how well this is gonna come across, but it's not gonna focus, is it? It's not gonna focus, is it? But like blue shorts and pants, and then he's like all gray. That's kind of neat. What does a normal Tyrogue look like again? Oh, purple and brown. I kind of like the shiny a lot better. Also, as a reminder, get your free crowd control coins. Oh, I also got... I don't know when I got him, but look at that. Charizard clone. How many shinies do I even have now? Shiny. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11! Holy crap. In case anyone's wondering, those are all my shinies. Not that it's going to focus, because it's not going to. That's neat. Alright. Back to our regular scheduled program. Except this was not actually like regularly scheduled. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, so this doesn't have a fish in it either. But we can at least replenish. Really? Thank you. Can't open that. I wish I could just pick those rocks up. Right. Hi, dude. Right in the butt. Shot to the butt. I like the Pokemon community game is is integrated with Twitch. So I don't know if you're on mobile, it's on a button on the top left of chat. If you're on desktop, there's a panel at the bottom under my stream. But that's the whole Pokemon popping in through chat and everything. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of channels that have it, which is nice. Like Mooney also has it. I think Jay got rid of it, but he did have it at one point. Clone Shiny Gibbles, that's amazing. Oh, that was when Johnny made the bad Studio Ghibli joke. It was so bad. So bad. Ghibli. Go right back in here, it's fine. Oh, and we can grab a fish. Good. We want fish. Yeah. It's just like an added little thing that's good for engagement and everything like that. People have fun trying to catch them all. Or just catching the, OGs. A lot of people do that too. Okay, I would really like some bomb shoes. That would be great. We almost went full circle. That's great. Okay. You figured it out yourself. Their Discord server is very useful. That's how I got it added to mine. I don't know if you use like Mix It Up or another bot that sends messages as yourself, but you can also program it so that it auto does a Poke check when a Pokemon spawns, and if you don't have one, you can do a Pokeball. That's what I do. Because sometimes you just need that little extra. That little extra automation. Okay, let me grab my horse, because there's fences here that I need to jump with the horse. Why are you in there, you freaking dinglehopper? You keep misspelling Ultra Ball. For me, it's usually Poke-Catch on mobile. Because it just auto-corrects and I'm like, please stop. Okay, this is super precise and that's gonna be annoying. Unless I got it and it didn't tell me. I did, okay. Bongo bongo, oh joy. The joy of a bongo bongo. Alright, well that's all that I needed there. For me, it just auto-corrects Poke-Catch into 2 words. All the time. We can go back to... We can do this dude and give him his saw. My contact is not happy right now. They're old, I have to replace them. Ice trap. Are these all gonna be ice traps? Probably. Yep, every single one was an ice trap. That's beautiful. Love that for me. Horsey, no. Horsey, go. Alright, so this guy needs his saw. You suck, sir. I'm not gonna grab this one in time. Oh, maybe. Oh, just in the nick of time. Cool. Waterfall. Oh, these took me forever the last time I tried them. Okay, well, that didn't go well. It's fine, everything's fine. We can at least do the scarecrows now. That's something we can do, and this check up here. We don't have the fishing. We don't have fishing or lab keys. Fine. It's fine. There's a Curlia in chat. Catch that Pokemon. It's part of the event. This is why it pays to always do the same song. Otherwise, you have to remember what you did. Yes, I do. I also have buttons here so that if it's something that I already have, but like for the event, I can use the button and throw an ultra ball or a normal ball. I don't know if I have a deep enough dive to be able to reach this. I don't think so. No. Okay. Nice catch, Cyniax. You caught the Curlia. Okay, so... I don't have that. Okay. Remember, save often. I don't have the lab key anyway, so I can't trade the frog anyway. Even if I had it. Even horse. Guys, I'm ready for summer vacation to be over. They have just been absolutely insane lately. Go here. Still can't open chests. Know-it-all's house. Is there a rock I must have missed? Screw you. I see no house rock. Did I not go in Saria's house at all? I apparently didn't. Well, that would have been a good thing to find before. Yep, those were all very helpful. Okay, so I can't do the crawls. I might be able to do some of the gossip stone fairies. I don't know. I think Song of Time is one of the ones that can work for it. So many ice traps. Like, oops, all ice traps up in here. This is the longest I've gone without being able to open chests and crawl. Like, this is just wild to me. You wish for a nice trap, it's too hot. I mean, you can have all of these. Hell, I'd even like settle with you having half of these. There's so many. Oh, I didn't check. Duh. I didn't check this. I don't remember if Song of Time is one of the ones that makes it appear. I know Zelda's Lullaby does. I know... Yes, it does. Okay. I know Song of Storms is for the big fairy on those. Which means I have some over here that I can do too. Can you stop scaring him? He doesn't like it. Just be careful doing that, big girl. You're gonna make them pop or you're gonna get them stuck that way and then they're gonna pop eventually too. Wait, no, it's up here. I gotta climb this. Come on. Come on. Thank you. Climb this. Climb over here. Backflip here. Sweet. Well, those were actually worth it. So that's exciting. Okay. So now we're gonna go over to Lost Woods. It's so over dramatic. Oh my god. Alright, we gotta go this way for this gossip stone. Ooh, okay, so that was real. Man, is everything on the gossip stone fairies? Because that would be rude. Okay. Okay. I feel like for a lot of this game, I'm just going, okay. Okay, that's a thing too. Sure. Okay. Because that seems to be like the theme for this one. Nuts. Fake nuts. Fake frog. I'm gonna kill you because you're just being a jerk. Nobody expects the Spanish ice trap. That was pretty good. I enjoyed that one. And as a reminder, we are fundraising for 1000 Dreams Fund today for their Dream Girl Summer, which benefits all of the 1000 Dreams Fund programs, not just the Broadcast Tour Initiative, but also scholarships for girls, women, femmes, all in STEM programs. It also funds leadership opportunities and even some training and just fun times all around. There's another Skrelp in chat. Catch that Pokemon as part of the event. We are currently at $200 raised. If we hit $300, I will finish off an entire bag of spicy Skittles gummies, which are not really pleasant. So it will be fun for all of you to watch. If we hit 400, that is a future Diamond Dot stream. When, I don't know. If we hit $500, I'm going to do a giveaway for some Diamond Dots coasters that I've already done. They are all leaves. They're very pretty. I like them. I just have no use for them. And if we hit 575, Johnny will drive up and pie me in the face and get pied in the face as well, because I'm not going down alone. If we hit 600, I will do a stream where I'll be drawing, and chat can make requests during that. Within reason. As you know, Twitch toss. Alright, we can do the eye drops. Alright, there we go. Daddy's calling you. I don't need anything there. We can go give the fish to the little bouncy dude. Oh no, I should have stayed in there. Dang it. Dang it. I done flipped up. Well, we can do something here. We can do a couple things here. I done did fuck up, Aaron. So there's that. There's that. You're a turd. I have bombs, so that's gonna suck. There's a thing over here I can do. Oh, there's one over there I can do. I got a nut upgrade. Nice. No! My dress.
You want cucumbers?
That's funny. I just got the email saying that was out for delivery and it's already here. Alright. We don't have iron boots, so that's... all of that on the bottom's gonna have to wait. I also don't have Zora tunic, but that hasn't stopped me before. No, add jail. I still can't open chests. My god. That's like the biggest pain in the ass. 'Cause I can't open the chests. I'm like, hi, I just really want to actually be able to do something. That'd be great. Thank you. Nope, not quite. That's okay. I fed the kittens around 11:30ish, something like that.
Did they touch the bowl?
There might have been like a little bit taken out, but I didn't really notice much. No, actually I want to go on this side. Come on, Scarecrow. I don't think there's anything I get that way anyway. Now that I think about it. Okay. Okay. That's unfortunate. That's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. You know what? Let's see where this one takes us. Okay, not where I expected in the graveyard. Thanks, Cody.
Okay,
I love you
look, the last time
too.
I was in Florida, I was like about an hour north of Orlando near the villages, and there's nothing but old people.
There's a Galarian Ponyta in chat. Catch that Pokemon. Orlando, yep. It's part of the event, and it's the My Little Pony version. It's just so cute. We can actually do this too. Hang on. We can give her the shroom. Mm.
Like maybe at first maybe you might make it one of these. Or maybe something different.
Okay. Wait, Granny's shop. Does she have something else that she sells? Yes. Yeah. It's like the jump sound. It was just screaming. Right, I was gonna do the fish. Slippery floor and low gravity. You were doing your shenanigans. Nice catch, Cody. I wonder what the shiny of that one looks like, if there is one. Here, bouncies. Have a fish. Oh, it is funny. I agree. My brain's like, what can I do? What can I do? Because this tracker does not just show me available checks. A fairy or a heart would be lovely right now. But I guess that's asking way too much for this game. Thanks, Cody. Miss Nix, I think it was in the water, so it didn't really give you that. That one did. Thank you, Cody. Did you not like the frog sounds? I don't know if I can dive deep enough to get this, actually. It was driving you crazy. So you're telling me I should lose all my hearts again? Yeah, no, I can't dive deep enough. Okay. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Can I get anything this way? Oh. That was fun. That was some well-timed shenanigans. No Z button. That's mean. That's mean. You were actually trying to help. It gives me a pretty decent window at least. This seed is very much all about not helping me. I don't actually know if I have this one. Hang on. Let me add these two.
It's fun because it's act like it's swooshing around.
You're not gonna see most of this, but I can. Actually, if I move it over here, move these over here. Move these over here because we don't really care about those too much. Move that here. Move that here. Put that there, actually. That's better. Why are you choking on French fries? Cody. I don't have Morpha. That's right. That's unfortunate.
Chicken nugget, chicken nugget, nugget, chicken nugget, chicken nugget, nugget. Chicken nugget dreamland, whoa, it's a chicken nugget fantasy. Chicken nugget dreamland, whoa, if you're into nuggets, it's where you wanna be. Chicken nugget dreamland, whoa, infinite flavors of infinite sauce. Chicken nugget dreamland, whoa. You can get a million piece box. Chicken nugget, chicken
Thank you for the chicken nugget dreamland, Miss Nick. You just hit a level 1 Tangier party. I think that's all we can really do here. We got chicken dancing. That was fun. Grab some of these. By some, I mean just one because, yeah. Let me grab also some blue fire, because that's something we have to give the beggar as a kid, I think. Let me just double check. Bugs and blue fire, yeah, okay. I think we can also... there's a pot in here, yeah. I don't have hammer to hit that switch, so... that's all we can do there. I can't do the fire one because I don't have that pendant. I can't do the spirit one. Do forest. Except I don't have fire, so we can only do part of forest. Well, I can't even open the chest, so why am I even doing this? There we go, there we go, there we go. These I always throw in the center because otherwise I hit them and they fall off, so. That's all I can do here. I can't open any chests. That's what's killing me. Alright, fire I can't do. I can pop into light. I don't have the keys. There's a Fennekin in chat. Catch that Pokemon. It's part of the event. It's also a starter. Those don't typically spawn. Right, I don't have any chests. I can't open chests. That's really what's killing me, is I just can't open chests. Get that off of there so that we can save it. Okay, well, where are we going next?
Oh, she's a great nap.
I caught the Fennekin! Yay! Can I just want to open chests. Can I please? We found half of the Triforce pieces that are in this seed, and we only needed 12 of them. Ah, you turd monkey. He did. Still can't open the chest. Do, do, do. Oh, yeah, that's right, signs. Okay. We're gonna take a gamble and see if it's this one. It was. That's funny. Alright, I don't have bombs, so I can't go all the way that way. Hi, Naga! Welcome in. How are you? Hope you're having a good Saturday. Can't open that cause I can't open chests. I'm doing okay. How are you? The seed's been rough. Hi, sweetheart. Yes, you're an adorable kitty cat. You're okay, just tired. I hear ya. Okay. So, that's all we can do there. That's fun. That's fun. That I need arrows for. No, you guys are having fun. Can we just keep it down a little bit, please? Okay. Okay. About 11. Every time I walk into that one. I would really like some chests. I would like to be able to open some chests. And like, I can't really do that because I don't have Zelda's Lullaby. Like, I'm sure we checked this, but I don't remember what's this way. You were being you. Oh, you're just in jail. So is Johnny. No, there's no restriction. It's just funny. And it puts you guys in red. So that everyone can go, shame. Shame. No. You didn't. You're good. Let's be a kid. You're still trouble. I mean, who isn't? That's an interesting spawn point. Okay. Right? There's a mammoth swine in chat. Catch that Pokemon. This is wild.
What?
Just the amount of stuff that's randomized in this right now. Is the audio really low? It is. Okay. I forget that I turn it down when I'm not playing this.
Close.
On stream. That was a great noise. So we need nighttime to take Richard home. We can do this while we're at it. Alright, Richard, come on. Come here, Richard. Move. Oh yeah, we also have to check these. Or did we already check those? We already checked those, okay. Okay, now we need to wait for daytime. My brother suggested a game and now I'm scared. It is cute. Squish, squish. Yeah. I know. It's fine. It's fine. We can't crawl, so we can't get the other one. What? Where does Desperado go, though? Not that I can probably do it, but... Next spot I want to go to is Lake Hylia, because I can dive deeper now, so I should be able to get all of those things in the water. You know, better noise. Big guy, leave her alone. It's a bowl where they take like a metal rod that they run around the outside. They ding it and then run it around the outside. It makes that noise. Yeah. I think you've seen one. I had them use one during a massage I had once, I think. That was an interesting massage. Leave her alone, please. Just leave her alone, please. can do that one lost woods bean sprout I can plant. Yeah, they're fine. That noise was wild. Fine. That one I don't think is even randomized. Panic. Why are you panicking? You're not even playing. Please let this be real so I can open my chests. Wasn't real. Wasn't real, y'all. You're welcome, Cody. We're gonna check this and then probably raid out. Because it's almost 4 o'clock. Well, maybe we'll do the butterfly too. Because we're right here. We have to go to the store. There's a Blossom in chat. Catch that Pokemon as part of the event. I'll let you know. Hubby's on vacation. We've been spending quality time together. Butterfly, please. Please, butterfly. Nice catch, Cedric. You caught the blossom. Yeah. I'm sure we'll have fun. Cody says hi, everybody. There we go. Jesus. That's a Roblox sound. I will not touch Roblox with a 10-foot pole. Just not me. Alright. We're gonna end it there. Let's see who we have on. I am also dealing with a headache. Let's see, we've got Sai with miniatures. We got Mello with Moonlight Peaks. Who's also doing their anniversary simple club. We're gonna go over to Mello, I think. To celebrate with Mello. Mello does have pre-rolls on, just so you know. Of course, it wasn't really a surprise it was me rescheduling Wednesdays. Because I had to cancel Wednesdays because of my migraine. Alright, but there are our raid messages. I want to thank you guys for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekends. I will have my schedule posted tomorrow. But yeah, remember, stay kind, stay curious. Love you guys. Bye! Let's go give Mello some love.